commentator tonight is Damian Evans. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? Now tonight, the first batch of the presidential ballot papers, comprising of 65 million papers for 18 counties, landed at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Telltale signs that the election is around the corner. The ballot papers arrived in the country together with a select group of IEBC commissioners and representatives from the parties. According to the IEBC Vice Chair, Juliana Cherera, the last day of delivering ballot papers to the country has been pushed to the 3rd of August due to numerous election petitions. And as Emmanuel To now reports, Azimio La Umoja One Kenya coalition has raised two fundamental questions on the statutory declaration forms that it terms as disturbing. Listen in.
12 days to the August 9 contest, and the first batch of the presidential ballot papers touched down at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The 13-member delegation that had visited Inform Lycos, Hellas SA company in Athens, Greece, tasked with the printing of the ballot papers, reporting back with 12,150 boxes of the ballot papers.
As you see behind us is the evidence of the presidential ballot papers that I've just checked in. This is the first consignment of 225 pallets.
The second batch of presidential ballot papers of 300 pallets will arrive in Nairobi on the 29th July this year, 2022.
By yesterday when we left, all the presidential ballot papers had been printed. The work that was remaining is packing.
There is in court battles pitting the Electoral Commission against disgruntled aspirants, now forcing the electoral agency to adjust their timelines by at least a week.
Due to the court rulings delay, the final delivery date will be on the 3rd of August 2022.
So far, the Commission has announced that over half of the 130 million ballot papers have been printed.
There are 65 million ballots out of the total 132 million in the Commission's warehouse.
At the same time, the Commission stated that the diaspora ballot papers will be ferried to Nairobi first before being distributed to their various destinations in the 12 foreign countries where the voting exercise will take place. The papers are being stored under lock and key at the IEBC's industrial area warehouse. This came as the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya party raised a red flag on the ballot printing process, with Paul Mwangi, who is the chief legal advisor for Raila Odinga presidential campaign, picking out two issues regarding the statutory declaration forms. One, that there were two books of Form 34As, which were labeled as Book 1 of 2 and Book 2 of 2. Azimio arguing that the only original Form 34As that the Commission needs in the presidential election are 6, one for the National Returning Officer, one for each candidate, and one inside the ballot boxes to be sealed with other election materials. Azimio argues the extra copies are not just copies, adding that it is a separate and parallel result declaration form. Secondly, that the Commission did not give an order to the printer for Form 34Bs. Azimio now sticking to its guns that the Commission must print Form 34Bs on the same footing as it has printed Form 34A. Since the form is a requirement under the law, the team has now asked for an urgent meeting with the Commission's chair, Wafula Chebukati, to iron out the issues raised.
They also verified the security features on the statutory documents printed that will accompany the ballots to the polling stations.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, will now be forced to have the last batch of presidential ballot papers only 6 days before the August 9 polls because of the cases that are in court. This, as the IEBC maintains that it is ready to prepare a free, fair and credible general election. Emmanuel To, KTN News, JKIA, Nairobi.
Well, that curious case of